Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, now here I am with another Land Before Time review. Here I am with the review for The Land Before Time 9, Journey to Big Water. So, like I said in my last review of The Big Freeze, that was the last Land Before Time movie that I actually watched when I was actually following the movies when they originally released. So, yeah, I didn't watch this film when it first came out. And yeah, I didn't even watch it for like a long time. I only saw it like for the first time like a few months ago. And yeah, just after rewatching it now, this was this I guess this was like a decent film. I mean, not really like one of my favorites once again, but I mean, it is like I think it is like kind of like better than the Big Freeze. Like I did enjoy it a little bit more than Big Freeze. Yeah, and yeah, I also did like this one like more than I did Secret of Source Rock. So I guess like it's not the worst one I've watched so far. Yeah, I think like it is a decent film. Yeah, it does. It is like an interesting story about this. Like this film is kind of like just sending a message about overcoming loneliness and stuff because yeah, Littlefoot in this film like he makes a new friend, Mo, the awful Ophthalmosaurus. Ophthalmosaurus, is that how it's said? Yeah. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And Littlefoot meets Mo because like he's just like feeling lonely because he doesn't have all of his friends are like preoccupied, so he doesn't have really anybody to play with. And then yeah, he meets Mo, and yeah, Mo becomes like a new friend of Littlefoot. And yeah, people really do seem to kind of like love or hate Mo. I really don't really care for Mo that much. I mean, he's a yeah, I mean, he really doesn't like leave the impact that like Chomper or Allie did. Like he's really like not like as likable as either of them. But I mean, yeah, I guess like Mo could have been worse. Like he could have been like so unbelievably annoying in this film, and he's really not like that bad. But yeah, I just really don't care for Mo very much. But yeah, I did think that this was a decent film. Like, well, something that I liked about this film was that it did kind of like play off a few of the previous films. Like, of course, in the title, Journey to Big Water, they once again head off to the ocean, or Big Water, like they do in Mysterious Island, and they actually do acknowledge that they've been to Big Water before, because, yeah, and the reason they go to Big Water is because that's where Mo lived, and they're trying to get him back home. Yeah, and also, like, in the beginning of this film, it's shown, like, the Great Valley was, like, really became, like, flooded and stuff because of, like, some a long period of rain, which is kind of similar to what happened in Journey Through the Mist with like the migrating longneck herd. That's the reason that they left their land because there was just so much rain that it just really just destroyed their land and just made it too wet and soggy for them to stay there. And yeah, I guess like the residents of the Great Valley do kind of like get a small taste of what the migrating longneck herd and Journey Through the Mist went through. So yeah, and also like this film, like the kids end up getting separated from their families due to like another earthquake that kind of just separates them from each other, just like what happened in the first movie. So yeah, this film does kind of like play off of the of, like a few previous films, like in that sense, yeah. And yeah, it shows like they really do spend most of this film just like helping Mo get back home to Big Water. So yeah, and yeah, speaking of that, like at one point in this film, something that I actually did like was that they did kind of like re-sing Big Water, or the song that was from the Mysterious Island. Yeah, in this film they end up like re-singing that at one point in this film. So yeah, I did like to see that in this film. So yeah, this film it did kind of like have some things that I liked about it. So yeah, I guess like I really like not really one of my favorite Land Before Time films, but I mean, yeah, it definitely was like better than a couple others I watched. Like I said, I liked it a little more than both Secret of Source Rock and The Big Freeze. So yeah, I guess like definitely not the worst one I've watched so far. So yeah, I did think that this was a decent film. I would give this probably 2.75 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, I guess like yeah, it definitely did have some enjoyable elements to it, and like I said, I did like how this film did kind of like play off a few of the previous films. So yeah, it was kind of like in a way kind of an homage to like the first film and like the other few films. So yeah, I really did like that. This really did kind of seem like not just another installment, but actually like an homage to the few of the previous films. So yeah, overall like not my favorites, but yeah, I still like did get some enjoyment out of watching this. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it did kind of like a few funny scenes, and like one of the scenes that I thought was really funny was around the beginning of this film, like when Littlefoot really didn't have, he couldn't really play with any of his friends because they were preoccupied. Littlefoot was feeling lonely, so he ended up like talking to his reflection in the water, and as he was talking to his reflection, like he would pretend like his reflection would be talking back with him, and he would like give his reflection a deeper voice, which I thought was kind of funny. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, this movie also did have like some funny scenes like that. So yeah, it had some entertainment value in this film too. So yeah, overall like a decent film. All right, so yeah, let me just get right into it. Alright, so the film opens with the narrator once again like giving the opening narration about dinosaurs, and he was talking about how there were like other things for dinosaurs to worry about other than other dinosaurs chasing them down and eating them. There were also like some bad weather conditions, and yeah, it was then like showing that the Great Valley had like a long period of rain that seemed to just never stop. And then once it ended up finally stopping, it was then just showing that the Great Valley was like partially flooded and there were like some debris in it. And Littlefoot went off to play, but like he couldn't play with any of his friends because they were preoccupied. Like Sarah and her father were like moving a really large log from their nesting area. Ducky and Spike like ended up like having to move to a new area to nest with their family. And Petrie ended up like coming down with a cold. So yeah, Littlefoot wasn't able to play with any of his friends, and then he was like complaining to his grandparents that he wished that his mother had given him a brother. And eventually, Littlefoot just ended up just then exploring on his own. And like I was just saying, he was like talking to himself, which yeah was funny. And Littlefoot eventually discovered like a really large area in the valley that ended up being flooded by all the rain. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, it was just then showing what like the all the parents were just like advising the kids not to go near there because there could be like creatures that might have been washed into the valley that could be really dangerous. But Littlefoot ended up going back anyway, and then he eventually he ended up meeting Mo, the op- Ophthalmosaurus. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Yeah, and yeah, Littlefoot like really quickly befriended Mo, and like Littlefoot was then just like then referring to Mo as his mud brother, and then Sarah and Ducky, Peachy, and Spike like ended up like finding Littlefoot, and then they all ended up befriending Mo too, except for Sarah. Like Sarah was like not really like wasn't really that pleased with Mo because she was just like was like kind of jealous that Littlefoot was found Mo to be fun, and she didn't think that Littlefoot really found her fun either. Yeah. And then Mo was just then telling the kids that he was actually from Big Water, and because of like during the all the rain, like the Big Water just ended up like becoming really dangerous and stuff, and so Mo ended up just swimming to the Great Valley. Yeah. Yeah. And then it was like showing that there was like another creature that was there too, Lyopleurodon, is that how it's said? Yeah. And yeah, he tried to go after Littlefoot in the group, but yeah, Mo was able to uh, like stop the Lyopleurodon from attacking any of them. Yeah. And yeah, Littlefoot tried to get the grown-ups to try to help Mo back home, but the grown-ups ended up just refusing because they didn't want to risk leaving the valley. Littlefoot then just decided he was gonna help Mo himself, but then there was then an earthquake that hit the valley, and yeah, it ended up just like splitting the ground. And so yeah, the kids ended up like being separated from their families, just like in the first movie, what the result of the earthquake in that film was. Yeah, they basically were in the same situation here. Yeah, and so then, since they weren't able to go back home, they then just decided to take Mo home by themselves. Yeah, and then yeah, throughout the film it just showed them journeying and down through a river that they felt led to the ocean. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, they were just like going through like journeying throughout, and yeah, Mo was just like always trying to have fun with them, but yeah, it was eventually like aggravating Sarah, and then she just was trying to get Mo to stop having so much fun and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, they were just like able to just like smell out the water, and it was like showing that Mo was like kind of able to uh, like point out which direction the big water was in and stuff. And so yeah, they just ended up like spent the majority of this time just like journeying throughout the down the river to try to reach the big water. Yeah, yeah. And then like yeah, and eventually they finally discover that they are like coming close to the ocean because yeah, they were starting to like taste some salt in the water. Yeah. But then like it was then like eventually revealed that Liopleurodon had actually like was pursuing them now too, and yeah, he was trying to go after the kids once again, but then like Mo was able to lure the uh, Liopleurodon away, and yeah, he just like was luring it further down the river away from the kids. And then, yeah, Littlefoot and the others then just got the impression that Mo might have been actually caught and eaten by the sharp tooth. But then, like the next day, they then discovered that Mo was alive, and Mo just explained that the sharp tooth actually did smell the ocean and ended up just abandoning the chase. Asen just decided to return to the sea. And then they eventually then ended up making it back to the big water, and yeah, Mo then was just happy to be home, but he also was like upset because he knew that Littlefoot and the others also had to go back home, and he wanted to stay with them, but yeah, Littlefoot was just like telling him that they couldn't because they they just couldn't get used to being in the area like Mo, and Mo does belong in the big water. And yeah, Littlefoot then just reminded Mo that they would always be brothers, and then it showed that Mo then reunited with his family. And then like the kids just knew like the way that they could get back to the Great Valley was to go past the Smoky Mountains. And so then and yeah, Mo then like gave them the the directions on how to get there. And then yeah, before they actually left, Mo then showed Littlefoot where he lived, and yeah, it just showed like underwater there was like this huge place that Mo lived. Yeah, and Littlefoot really was like really amazed by the appearance of like the underwater world where Mo lived. Yeah, and then they eventually just said goodbye to Mo, and then yeah, they then just journeyed back to the valley. But yeah, it just like really like yeah, just like just was really shortened down, just to show them like just very briefly journeying, and then it just like cut right away to them arriving back. So, yeah, it really didn't like yeah they really didn't like play that off where they like just spend like a while like journeying back to the Great Valley. They just decided to cut right to like when they arrive back home. Yeah, and then they then eventually like arrive back at the Great Valley, and then they reunited with their families. Yeah, and then the narrator was just closing it, saying that Littlefoot, Sarah, Ducky, Peachy, and Spike knew that even though this adventure was over, there would still be many more adventures in the future, and there would be, with like still several more sequels in the future. So, and yeah, that's how it ended. So, yeah, like I said, 2.75 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, not one of my favorites, but definitely did have some enjoyable elements to this, and yeah, definitely like enough to really get my some enjoyment out of me, and yeah, definitely did have some entertaining moments to it. So yeah, so yeah, this review wasn't really long, but yeah, there really wasn't really much for me to talk about with this, yeah, because yeah, it just really just seemed to be like most of the stuff in this film really just seemed kind of filler, especially like with their journey down to the water. But yeah, I tried to do the best I could talking about like the really the big elements of this film. So yeah, I hope that you guys were like did enjoy this review for like as shortly as I was able to talk about. But yeah, there just really wasn't a lot to talk about. But I hope you did like enjoy what I had to say about this enough. So yeah, alright, so yeah, those are for a review of Land Before Time 9 Journey to Big Water. And up next, we're gonna be getting to probably the biggest fan favorite sequel. Well, so yeah, stay tuned for that coming up next in these reviews. Alright, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.